technology has finally caught up with us.
There you go. We finally moved into the right way.
That's a stretch
right
for me.
millennium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When technology finally catches up, because I run pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, try to anyway. Pause up, my cats and kittens. You are tuned into Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com. And we are here at the Mighty Vic, the Visitor Information Center at 111 Hickory Street in beautiful downtown Denton. And as we look out the window out there, the trees are lit up with all those cute little white lights, and everything's just beautiful. There is still no sign of the Pokemon people, which is good. That's a good thing. So we don't have Pokemon going on out there. We had a bunch. I guess it was during the springtime.
Really?
When that was all a big deal, and everybody was walking around with their phones in their hands.
Walking into traffic.
And each other.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
And which was the funniest thing. But no, they're not doing that anymore. So now we just have people, there's some of our blues finest right out there, and we'll wave to those guys so they don't give us a ticket because we know we're parked illegally. But anyway, we are here.
They?
Do what?
But do they?
Do they? We hope not. We hope they're not paying attention. They seem to be staring up at the top of the building, so hopefully there's something much more interesting up there than where we're parked. So that'll work. And we are sitting here. We're about to dive into some radio excellence here for the next couple hours. And what better way to start this mess tonight than break a little mold? Usually we have musicians, and we come in and we talk about music and all that. But we are going to grace our airwaves this evening with a new author.
Well, thank you. It's very nice to be here, too.
Yeah, I'm glad you showed up. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here just doing nothing. So it's also, this is Dominic Cosme.
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 Yes.
Dominic Cosme.
Dominic Cosme.
Okay, see, I don't know you by that name. We go way back, my cats and kittens. We go way back.
About 20 years.
About 20 years, right around.
Yes.
And so, but, who am I to say anything about, what name you go by? so I really can't play that card, okay? So for tonight, you are Dominic Cosme.
Dominic Cosme.
And you have done really the American dream. You've written a children's book.
As a matter of fact, I have.
You talk to people, and most people say, what's the line is everybody has a novel in them.
Everybody has a novel in them.
And
yes.
I myself, I'm guilty. I've got one that's bubbling somewhere, and I type on it about once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I've got 2 pages now, and I've been working on it for 12 years. It's getting there.
It's getting there. It's getting there. That's where it starts.
I'm one meeting away from having a concept. So, but you went out and actually have now published
a published book.
I mean, this is just happening right now. Right?
It is.
I mean,
it
as
is.
we sit
It's
here,
been an amazing ride too.
So now I know that you have, and we'll talk about your background. But when did you actually decide that, and how did you actually decide that you were going to write?
Well, it's kind of funny. My wife actually came home with the computer and set it in front of me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Here, go to work.
It was funny because I was always like, I need a computer. I need a computer. I need a computer. And then all of a sudden, it was there.
There it was.
It was there.
Now what?
I'm looking at this computer.
Yeah.
And she said, get it out. Just go ahead and get it out.
Wow.
And I just started writing.
Yeah.
So
were you looping, or did you have an idea?
Well,
prior?
actually, I had a couple of different ideas
Right.
at the time
Right.
when I started. But when this concept came to me, it really just took a hold. It almost started writing itself. It just had to come out.
Now, the title of the children's book is?
It's What Kind of Name is Blart?
What Kind of Name is
series.
Blart?
And
it's
the
a
actual,
series.
yes. And the title of the book is Chewing Problems.
So is this the first book in a series?
It is the first book in the series, yes.
Okay.
The second book's actually in the works as well.
And who is Blart?
Well, Blart is he's an average fourth grader.
Right.
He's 9 years old. Just does what every other fourth grader loves to do.
Right. He happens to be green, though.
He does happen to be green. As a
why
matter of fact.
why is your fourth grader green, Dom?
Well, the reason why the fourth grader is green is he actually has a condition called zombiphonitis.
Zombiphonitis. Okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
And that's what the story is really about. Blart and Teddy. Teddy is the neighbor who lived there originally. Blart just moved into town and moved into the house right next door.
Right.
And Teddy and Blart both discover they got a lot in common.
Right.
But they look completely different.
Well, yeah. Teddy's not green.
No, he is not green.
So.
And through that, he learns about Blart's zombiphonitis and really wants to help Blart fit in. And really, they have a new school year. They're about to start. It's the weekend right before new school year starts. And he wants to help him fit in.
Right.
So.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like that. That's so basically what you have is a friendship that strikes up just because you're neighbors, and I know I've had those. So it's kind of a natural thing when you're that age,
right?
But you've got a unique character here, and somebody that's actually trying to help them fit in,
right?
Which is going to be difficult, I can imagine,
and it creates a lot of wacky fun throughout the book because it is quite difficult.
What in blazes is zombification?
It's zombiphonitis.
Zombiphonitis. Okay.
Well, it started with a bacteria when he was really, really young. And, although the doctors were able to come up with a cure for the bacteria, they couldn't quite cure the side effects that stayed around.
It's being green.
Which, part of it is being green.
Right.
He's rather large.
Right.
He's kind of grown, faster than a normal kid would grow. So he kind of stands head and shoulders above Teddy. Looks, a little bit older and a little bit different.
To explain, my cats and kittens, what we're talking about, we have some illustrations for you here. And the one that really catches my mind, I guess this is totally Blart in a setting. I don't know. Can we see that? Is that how are we doing there, Mr. Producer? Can we zoom in on that a little bit, or what are we doing there? There we go. That's Blart.
And this is Blart.
Right.
And Teddy is actually trying to pull him to his room in this scene.
Right.
And get him away from a certain situation.
These are wonderful illustrations. I love this. It looks like what medium is that? Is that?
This is Stephanie actually did this. So
Stephanie,
you'd have to go.
Who is your artist? What is her name?
Stephanie Will.
Stephanie Will. Okay.
Yeah, the illustrator. You'd have to actually, talk with her about her process, but it's absolutely amazing.
It looks like there's a little bit of Photoshop in here and some maybe some.
It is a computer illustrations.
Yeah, because you can see the rug and everything, the textures and all of that stuff. But that's beautiful, and just I love the picture of Blart. He is a bit taller. Yeah, and I guess this whose parents back there?
This is actually this is Teddy's mom, and then you have Blart's father, and you also have Blart's sister, Sarah.
Blart has a protagonist.
Yes, as a matter of fact, a little bit of a protagonist, especially with Teddy.
Awesome. So you got a good dose of that one there. These are just wonderful. I love these. Now this apparently is when Blart was diagnosed. Am I correct in that assumption?
Well, he actually wasn't diagnosed so much in this one. I mean, he was diagnosed, of course. This is just the general side effects that were taking effect with the zombiphonitis. So Mom and Dad were continually going in, what's going on with our child.
Right.
And the doctors would just blame the zombiphonitis.
Well, if you're going to put blame somewhere, do it on the zombiphonitis.
Do it on the zombiphonitis.
Remember that, cats and kittens. When you need an excuse, then you can use zombiphonitis.
It's got to be the zombiphonitis.
I know. Those are awesome. I just love that. I just love these pictures. This is very cool.
Yeah, Stephanie did an amazing job. I actually tried for a little while to come up with some illustrations.
Well,
on
you
my
do
own.
doodle.
I doodled, but there was, I learned quite quickly that I was nowhere near the cartoonist that I thought I might be.
Right.
So,
understand.
Amazingly, Stephanie sent an image and said, I felt inspired.
Yeah.
And
well, obviously she was.
she took over.
Seriously, it
brought
it
to
gives
life.
it a great look. It's there's a gentleness to it, but at the same time, it's very colorful. It's got a personality to it, and it's got a lot of texture. I don't know if you can see this by Cats and Kittens, but yeah, there's texture in the dress and the gowns in it, which makes me think there's a little bit of Photoshop in here. A little bit, along with everything else, which is why God made all that stuff, so that you could shove it together. So,
And there's 22 beautiful illustrations throughout the book.
Awesome.
One for each chapter, and like I said, absolutely amazing job.
and I'm going to bring up one more here. This is probably my favorite. This is actually, if you go to the website, which right now it is. What is the website that the ebook is on?
What kind of name is blart.com?
Okay, so you have your own website.
And then also Golden Edition Publishing.
That's it. Golden Edition Publishing.
Yes.
If you go to goldeneditionpublishing.com, this shows up on their front page. And you get a little taste of the book, and there's a little bio about you and all of that. And then this picture kind of shows up. So the dog has got.
Well, it kind of started with Patches.
Oh, Patches is the name.
Patches is the name. It's aptly put too.
That's
his name
wild
kind of took
looking
over. Yeah. So it kind of started with Patches,
Right.
and Blart was involved.
That is awesome. I just love this, and I love this part right here. Just the bicycle tire back there. And,
there's a lot of modern technology through the book, but at the same time, there's a lot of nostalgia as well for
Yes.
the parents.
Yes.
It's a great book to read to your children. It's definitely a children's book for
Right.
7, 8, 9-year-olds.
Oh, okay. Okay.
10.
So that's
even up to 11.
That's the
12.
age group, basically.
That's more or less the age group, but it's really for all ages.
Right.
I mean, when you definitely get in and read it, it's heartwarming.
Well, when I went in and read it, I found it funny.
Yeah.
I really did, and I said, oh, this is going to be hysterical. So yeah, I think that it would translate to just about any age, and it would be fun to read to the kids. So there we go. There's Blart and Patches and
Teddy.
Teddy's
peeking over the fence.
Over the fence.
In fact, that's the first time that he actually sees Blart and Patches.
As he's chewing on a bone.
As he's chewing on a bone.
That's hysterical.
Kind of a side effect from the zombophoниtis.
There you go. There you go. I love that. So now the book is what is the name of the people that are publishing it?
Golden Edition Publishing.
Golden Edition Publishing. How did you find those guys?
Well,
how did you shop this? Once you have the idea, you put it together, then what?
Well, there was quite a bit of editing process that went involved. I mean, throughout the editing process, and then moving into actual getting with the publishers. It's just.
Was the editing process just you beating on it with a stick?
Oh no! Oh my gosh! This story, came out.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
I rewrote it myself, of course, the first time to make sure that I had it in all the directions that I wanted when I, gave it to the editor.
Right.
Then the editing process was, sitting down, really, hammering through some of the, touchier, I wouldn't say points or anything like that, but just hammering through and getting a little bit more.
Was the editing process? Was that you basically going back over it again and touching up?
Not just myself, no, but
That's
there was a
what I'm
lot of
getting to
input that came in with what I saw and different things like that.
But who'd you use?
On,
That's what I'm saying.
I actually used a couple different editors, as a matter of fact.
Professional editors.
We had to do, of course, the actual. Punctuation and
right.
That type, and then of course copy editing.
Pesky punctuation.
Weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pesky things like actual grammar, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Well, then exactly, and then of course the copy editing where you're looking at different things, maybe redundancies and changing maybe a few sentence structures here.
That's actually brilliant because you are not doing that. You could actually step away from it. And lets other eyes look at it and give you critique. It
was definitely that type of an experience, which was great. It gave a fresh eyes to, of course, what I had written, and then there were things that we were able to blossom it out.
Right,
So
and this is the first
experience.
time for you to go through this process.
Yeah.
So
it was incredible.
A learning curve. Very nice.
Definitely.
Very nice.
Definitely.
So cool. And then you put the did the illustrations come after and during the editing?
Well, it's funny because the illustrations actually came before a lot of that process. We already had a lot of the concepts that I wanted, and the imagery was very, very important to that, which is amazing that Stephanie was able to bring it together, because what we see is something even bigger. There's a lot that we see with the series and would like to eventually maybe take it to.
Yes.
So the imagery was very, very important at that.
Well,
and we had to have a lot of that beforehand.
That's what I'm interested in is what process you actually went to, in case there's anybody out there that is thinking about doing this mess and putting themselves through the same torture you've been going through for how long? This has been going on for a couple of years now, right?
Well, actually, yeah, it's been going on for about a year and a half. The process. So it takes quite some time. I'd say the best thing to do, find yourself a really good editor, of course.
Right.
And when you're shopping and you're working with different people, network.
Yes.
That's where you're going to find most of what you need to help you along the way.
That is true in almost everything. But remember my cats and kittens, for you budding authors out there, that Rome wasn't burnt in a day, and you basically do have to just keep at it and keep at it. So you went to the publisher and said,
well,
did you have a finished product when you went to them, or did you have bits and pieces?
Well, I mean, it was a finished product. It was definitely manuscript. We had, of course, all the imagery. We'd already been working on, with the editors and stuff like that.
So it was a full presentation.
I mean,
this is what we got.
And the ebook's coming out. The ebook's already out, as a matter of fact.
Excellent.
It's actually an exclusive right now with Kindle.
Right.
And it will be for the first 90 days.
I was excited when you said that, because we'll definitely put it. I love my Kindle.
Oh, definitely.
That's like one of my best little friends. It's just we hang out together all the time.
And of course, in the Kindle, depending on what Kindle you have, the imagery is going to be full color.
Right.
Then we have the paperback and the hardcover that will be dropping out on the 6th of November.
Now, you mentioned that one of these is going to be grayscale.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the paperback is actually monochromatic.
Really?
Yes.
Why? What was the reasoning behind it? I think it's a neat idea. What's the reasoning behind it?
Well, in truth, you definitely want to be able to give people options on, what they'd like to buy.
Right.
And when you're talking about just a strict hard copy, it tends to increase a little bit on the price, so you want to be able to offer something that's a little bit on the other side as well.
I knew that was coming. When it comes to printing, if you sneeze color, it's going to cost you cash.
It does.
It does.
And the hardcover is full color every page, 100%
as it should be.
Full color, not just the images, but also the headers for the chapters, the footers.
Right.
It's beautifully done.
So you've got a hardcover, and then you're going to have a soft cover. You're doing an ebook as well.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, in the works right now, we are working on an audio as well.
An audio book.
And then we also have an activity book that goes along with the actual book.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot
package.
of the imagery. Yes, and that's Stephanie. Stephanie Will.
Right.
She went with imagery and took a lot of the imagery that we put into the book,
right.
And we were able to go into another direction, and she was able to do an activity book, which will be coming out as well.
Very cool.
So that's really, really cool.
And
a lot of fun for the kids.
You had mentioned that you're going to try to hit the market for the holidays.
For the holidays, yes.
You think you're going to be able to pull that one off?
It drops out just in time for the holidays, which is good. It's going to be in November 6th. We also have a release party.
Yes.
That we're going to be doing on the square on the southeast corner the weekend right afterwards.
Which one's the southeast corner, Mr.
Southeast
Producer?
corner is actually the one that is right across from the Wells Fargo.
Okay,
Caddy corner.
So right here.
Yes.
So that would be Locust and Hickory.
Yes.
Locust and Hickory Street.
Right.
For those of us that do read street signs, and or actually. Basically, right across the street from DentonRadio.com.
And it'll be
right?
Saturday.
Thumbs up from the producer.
Saturday, November 11th.
Saturday, November 11th.
Yes. at 11 o'clock in the morning till 2 in the afternoon.
And what are you going to be doing for this?
Well,
little
we're going
release?
to, we've invited some others to come out and join us. We're actually going to have Aquapop there. We're also going to have.
What is an Aquapop?
Aquapop? Well, it's a
I'm
beverage.
fixing to be embarrassed about this.
It's actually a Denton vendor. It's a beverage that's actually, more along the lines of the water.
I thought it was a band that I should probably know about.
No.
Okay, good. I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It would be. But they're going to be joining us.
Yep.
They're going to be joining us. Also, Heavenly Tailored Sweets will be out there with us as well. We're going to have some. We're going to have a book reading. We're going to read several chapters from the book.
Yep.
We're also going to have a few games out there for the kids and for the adults and some fun. We're just going to have a good party.
Cool. And that is November 11th.
November 11th. As a matter of fact, it is right after the UNT homecoming parade. So you should be able to find us.
So, I was going to say, you're going to have 50 billion people out here anyway.
That's going to be the fun of it.
Sit right out in the middle of it.
And we're going to have a party.
That's pretty sharp thinking there.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Hey, what a brilliant idea. Captive audience. So that's awesome, though. I love that. And you can have sweets and sodas, so rocket fuel for the kids.
Yes, definitely rocket fuel for the kids.
They'll be running around like crazy.
Running around. We're going to have the reading. We're going to be signing books. We're going to be selling books while we're out there. And
who's gonna do the reading?
Right now, I'm going to do the narration part, and as far as the voices go, I do have one other person that's going to be doing the voices with me, and talking possibly another person, so that we can get a few different voices.
That would be awesome. That would be kind of like a live performance type thing, and that was so funny. Is when I went into the publishing site, and they have a sample chapter. And I was listening to the sample chapter, and what was really great is they had the illustration and then the actual text rolled across the screen. And then this voice comes out and starts reading it, and I swore to Olive that was you. But come to find out, I am wrong in that assumption.
As a matter of fact, that would be my son.
Your son, Brendan.
My son, Brendan.
Who's 11?
No, he is 19 now. It's been years.
This is terrible. I remember when Brendan was born. Okay, so I can't believe he's 19 years old now.
And he's got a thicker beard than I do now.
Yeah, he's got your voice too.
He does.
Big old deep voice in there.
Deep voice.
That's pretty awesome.
And that's part of the good being able to have someone who has.
Oh Lord, yes. Yeah.
I don't have to do it, and he can do the audio.
Thank you very much. One of the brilliant things I think about leadership, especially when you're doing a project and you're spearheading that, is that you could delegate.
Delegation is a good thing.
That's right. And you get some bodies in there and you just start pointing. But Hopper's number one rule of management, it's your fault.
Always.
Yes. So you get good people to do it, but the thing is, you could delegate that stuff away.
Right.
Just, you do this, and you do this, and you do this, and I'm going to sit back here and panic, but not look like it. I'll just be very cool and just be really cool about it. So I love this whole idea. This is very, very awesome. And I wish you all the luck with this thing.
I appreciate it.
I just can't
Thank
wait
you so much.
to see the coming out party, I guess is what we could – The release party. And now our cats and kittens. The name of the book is
What Kind of Name Is Blart?
What Kind of Name Is
Chewing
Blart?
Problems.
Chewing Problems. That's the first edition.
That is the first.
You are planning many editions.
As a matter of fact, the second one is actually in the works as well.
Right.
Under our working title, Fall of the Fifth Grade Bandits.
Awesome. And has the publisher give you a deadline for this second edition?
We're
Just
really
curiosity
aiming for the summer. But depending on how everything shakes out, it might be more towards the fall.
Very cool.
Of
next year, which is 1 a year is not bad.
1 year is not bad.
Yeah. Always buy you some time. Always buy you some time. These books are available where? Where can somebody pick them up?
Right now, like I said, you could pick up the ebook as an exclusive with Kindle right now for the first 90 days.
And you can download that from...
And then you can download that Amazon.
Amazon.
Would be the place to go for that.
I'm not surprised. They rule the world.
And, of course, the ebook will be coming out, in 90 days, so to be at the first of the year.
Right.
Then that's going to be coming out everywhere. You'll be able to probably Barnes & Noble, I know for sure.
Good.
Quite a few different independent sellers should, as well. You'll be able to order it through, of course, your local bookstore.
Right.
You should be able to go in if they don't have it on the shelf or stock, then you should be able to order it.
Very cool.
As far as that goes. So it's very, very exciting.
So,
we're also working on, trying to move into some of the world markets as well. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that, and that you're going to try to hit overseas. Yes. That could be brilliant. And I had asked you about this, and it was the answer was interesting. Is translation of this
right?
And,
well, like we were talking earlier about translating in Japanese, but
right.
A lot of the buyers in Japanese really like the English books.
Yeah.
And with the imagery and everything, we really feel like we'd be able to push a success maybe in that market.
Very cool.
So translation is definitely on the table.
Right.
We've talked about it, but
that is just fascinating to me, though, is how they would do that. I guess the publisher would have a lot to do with that.
Well, they do. And, 70% of all books are in English, even in other countries.
True. Yes.
Most people do read English, therefore the market is really open in that. And,
of
course, publishers, so that's kind of in their hands.
Yeah, they're a small group of very powerful. They own the world, from what I understand. Yeah, the Illuminati
the
is
gatekeepers
actually
of everything.
Yes. Publishers like you, love you guys. Okay, very cool.
You got to be good to the publishers.
You do.
Definitely.
So I'm very excited about this. This is awesome.
Well, it's been an incredible experience, and I chose to do this just, I've always been an avid reader myself.
Right.
And I've always felt reading is very, very important. It just it builds a certain foundation, especially for the children, a foundation in learning and understanding, reasoning. Definitely.
Curious enough, do you feel that there is a danger to actual reading, as opposed, do you feel it's not as promoted as it used to be, or is it changing? Is it evolving into something else?
Well, I believe that it's definitely evolving. You have a lot of technology today. And,
absolutely.
With the technology, of course, you can find just about any type of literature you want to.
Yes.
Definitely. But, you still have to have that foundation. And, it's where it all starts, is that interest.
See, I wonder about that because, you go through like the grocery store and you see an entire rack of paperback novels, and the artwork and all of that is still there, and it's still basically the same thing that it always has been for 100 years or however long. Newspaper, I worked in newspaper for a long time, and we did not train the next generation of newspaper readers.
Right.
And so the hardcover of newspaper actually is starting to die out. Now, I myself included, while I was working at the newspaper, I read the newspaper online. I still read it.
Right.
I still saw it, but it had evolved from actually holding it and smelling it, which I think, in my humble opinion, when you go digital, you lose that charm.
Well, you do, and with books, it's very interesting. When you get into the actual book market, it's very interesting. The ebook sales, of course, have increased throughout the years.
Right.
But there is still a certain aspect in the community to be able to hold that book, to be able to flip through the pages of the book,
smell it,
and smell it,
because it has that smell.
Oh, it does.
I just love to walk around Barnes & Noble with my nose in the air.
Fresh book smell.
Brilliant, yeah. Ooh. But it is. I do a lot of books on CD and things like that. A lot of audio books.
And a lot of it is going to that. With the technology, which is definitely opened up the market quite a bit for publishing.
But do you think that there will always be a place somewhere for the hard?
I definitely think so. If you take a look at the ebook sales market right now, it's definitely leveling.
Right.
to the point. And, you know, when you look into a lot of the foreign markets, especially, you know, you get into India, you get into Japan, and they really crave having that physical aspect.
That's interesting, especially from Japan,
Yeah.
which is very technological.
Very technological, but yeah, when you look at their, right, and you look at the ebook sales in comparison
yeah,
in a Japanese market, and you're getting a lot more of the actual physical copies and a lot less
that's
of the
interesting. That's you know, because one of the things that I miss, and I was talking about this with somebody, Brian King, who was here a couple of weeks ago. He's a keyboard player. We play a lot of gigs together and everything like that. We were discussing the fact that one of the things that I miss is album art.
Oh yes,
honest to goodness album art, and
when you could hold the LP in your hand,
and if it was a open, you know, a double open, then you could use it for all kinds of wonderful things, and but that you could have that artwork in your hand. And
you could pull out the sleeve to see if there was additional artwork or even lyrics.
Exactly, you get some of that, or maybe I think it was a Decca that would have just hundreds of other albums on that sleeve. You know, this is a Decca catalog. You know, but I'll never forget when I bought "School's Out" by Alice Cooper. And I pulled out the album, and it had a pair of panties stretched across the LP, and that was the sleeve protection. And I thought, okay, this is different.
This is different. You're not going to find that in Blurt.
You're not okay. That's good. That's good. But the charm of having that actual artwork and stuff like that is it went away with the CDs. You know, and now CDs are going away, and I'm understanding. I read a bit this week that CD sales are actually down. People are just downloading song by song by song.
Definitely, the digital has increased in that.
However, interestingly enough, vinyl, people are starting to actually redistribute vinyl, especially for music.
Isn't that amazing?
It costs out the fanny to do it.
Oh yeah,
but they are doing it.
There's a certain sound to just dropping the needle on the record.
There is. You get that. You know, it's like when an egg first starts to fry. You know,
right?
Yes. You know, and I'm here for the experience.
I still have albums that are just worn in a groove from how many times I put that on. That
exactly.
song.
I know, and that's another part of the charm. You still have a few albums?
Oh, I do. Yes.
So do I. Yeah, they're hid way back in the closet, and I have nothing to play them on, but they're there.
My brother took the record player.
He's
so
got the record player.
No, I don't have one, but I have the records.
I was surprised, though, to find out that you can actually buy a record player. We've got one here. That thing over there, yeah, that's a record player. It says Victrola, which I don't believe for a minute because of the digital numbers underneath it. But, yeah, you open that up, there's a record player in there. So, yeah, so the hope has not totally died. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, when you think about it, and you think about, you know, is that same thing happening to literature, and I think children's books, maybe not so much, because you're always going to want that visual.
Right. Definitely.
Now you can do that with a Kindle and things like that, which, you know, I know my 5-year-old grandson's got a Kindle, and it's his best friend.
Yeah.
You know, a little snot can sit there and just, you know, do stuff all over the place with it, but it's still not quite the substitute.
No, it's definitely not. You know, one of the big things is gifts. You know, giving a book as a gift. You know, and just influencing a young person to read. You know, it's one of the things that you find from.
I think that should be promoted.
It should be promoted.
Yeah,
but, you know,
keep it alive.
You do find that a lot, especially when you come to the physical hard copies of books, as
Yeah.
opposed to sending somebody an ebook.
Yeah.
As well. So, and I think that's why you take a look at the children's market. The children's market is definitely stable when it comes to actual hardcovers and paperbacks.
I think that's why it's so popular. And I think that's why so many people want to get into it. You know, and I've talked to loads of people that have, I've got a children's book started, or I've got an idea for one, or everything like that.
Well, you know, if you do, you just go for it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the truth of the matter is, you take one step at a time.
Right.
You know, when a hurdle comes in front of you, you know, just
so
keep walking forward.
I know you're concentrated on Blart right now. Do you have plans to expand and keep writing and just try?
You know, I do. I actually have a young adult series in mind that I've actually started.
Very cool.
You know, Blart has been my focus.
Right, and will be.
And will be.
Yeah. There's your bread and butter down there, buddy.
But, you know, writing is one of those things that, when you come up with the story, and you get it out.
Yeah.
And, as far as stories go, there's hundreds of stories in all different genres.
True. That's very true. It's the same with songwriting. You either come up with a total concept or you just come up with little tidbits and just shove it all together at 7 o'clock in the morning one day before you go to work and then record it 2 weeks later. Yeah. Hence
Voice
my
of
first
experience.
album. Yeah, my first album. Most of it was written at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was like, wow, I can't believe I'm awake, but so it depends when the
inspiration
muse
hits
you. Yes,
I found that with writing a lot.
Really?
It depends. I could wake up in the morning sometimes and have the time to just go ahead and hammer it out, and sometimes I would find myself more in the evenings doing something, especially when it came to the editing process.
Yes,
that was an evening.
I'll bet. Yeah,
long evenings.
All right, here we go. So, well, that's all very cool, but I'm going to bring this up before we go. Is that you have a culinary background?
I do.
You're not totally one-dimensional here, are you?
No. I also have a very big musical background as well.
You do, and that's when we met 500,000 years ago. We had done some jamming. You're a drummer.
One of the instruments that I play.
One of them. Oh, God,
many.
yes, that's right.
That's
you
right.
had a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. And now you've passed that on to the boy.
Yes.
One of them.
As a matter of fact, I don't have much of my equipment anymore because they have all taken it over.
They've taken it over.
Yeah, I have actually 3 boys.
The
oldest one's 19, and then I have twins that are 14.
Right, right. What do they think about all this mess?
They really...
They're teenagers. They don't care.
No. No, they do.
Really?
We have stickers, we have coffee mugs, we have bookmarks, and things like that. The stickers are amazing. We have them.
Awesome.
Be able to place them. They're the big peel and stick ones. So but they love the imagery.
Right. Cool.
They've definitely heard the book.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Many a time.
Well, Brendan especially.
And Brendan. They really think it's a great thing.
Very cool. Very cool.
They like going around talking about Dad being an author.
Yeah. So. And we got to drop the boot. Mama is Stephanie. And the illustrator.
Yes, and the illustrator.
Keeping it all in the family.
Keeping it in the family.
That actually cuts down on some overhead.
Well, it definitely does.
Anyway.
Yeah, it definitely does. And then also, like I said, having the imagery rights along with the actual copyrights too.
Yeah.
The writing was a big thing for us.
Oh, yeah. So. Heck yeah. That keeps it all in the same bucket.
Yes.
And that's your bucket, by the way. That's I love that.
Well, that's her bucket.
That's her bucket.
That's
You got to give Mama her bucket.
Mama's got the bucket.
That's right.
I'm good. I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah. As long as somebody's got a hold of it, you don't have to mess with it. Then I guess it's okay.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Well, Dom, thank you so much.
Well, I've had a great time.
Really appreciate this. And again, My Cats and Kittens, the name of the book.
What kind of name is Blart?
What kind of name is Blart?
Chewing Problems.
Chewing Problems. And that's
the
first edition.
Go get it. Enjoy it.
At Amazon.com.
Amazon.com right now on the Kindle.
And the name of the publisher again?
Golden Edition Publishing.
Golden Edition Publishing. If you go to goldeneditionpublishing.com, first page that pops up on their website is this book, and you can have a nice little freebie chapter and a little bit of background information on this miscreant over here, and just kind of check it out and welcome into the world of Blart.
The world of Blart.
There you go. I like that. We're going to dive into that. So thank you so much for coming out.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right.
Appreciate it.
And we'll keep an eye on Blart and see what goes on, and we'll get you back in here.
Since you're right here, come on out on the 11th and join us for the wonderful celebration.
We will most certainly be out there.
All right.
Check it out.
Sounds great.
And then we'll probably drag your fanny back in here to do another show and see how it goes.
I would love that.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Sounds
great.
like a plan.
Right.
All right, my cats and kittens. That's what we got for the first hour. Seems like Dominic wants to get out of here already. So no, we're not done yet.
Okay.
We have to go to the professional part of the show.
Right.
Now. Well, I say that. Okay. So that's what we got for the first hour, my cats and kittens. Stay tuned. We got the lovely and talented Lydia Lowe coming up for the second part of the show tonight. And we'd like to thank producer extraordinaire Jake Laughlin for pushing some buttons over there. And I guess we're going to play some videos here while we get ready for the next hour. So go ahead and push the button, Max, and we will check you out in just a few minutes. Don't leave the neighborhood. You are on Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com. And this is a song about a door-to-door salesman. It's called Razor Sharp and Silken Blue. This old town's the same as the one before. Hotels, solitaire, empty bars and wooden floors. Got rain on the pavement, door slammed in my face. Promise of miracles, the reality of mistakes. Razor sharp and silken blue. Can't seem to drink away this melancholy mood. My only friend's an empty glass, pack of stale cigarettes, bottle of memory, suitcase of regret. Miles of highway, these old wore out shoes, bus station breakfast, train station blues. I'm selling my soul one door at a time. Got me pennies in heaven, yeah, while hell is full of dimes. Razor sharp and silken blue. Can't seem to drink away that melancholy mood. My only friend's an empty glass, pack stale cigarettes, bottle of memory, suitcase of regret. Razor sharp and silken blue. Can't seem to drink away that melancholy mood. My only friend's an empty glass, pack of stale cigarettes, bottle of memory, suitcase of regret. Keep it going, guys. On the piano, Brother Brian King. On the bass, Tim Boomer Ross. On the bells and drums and percussion, Brother Gary Chase. And to my immediate, she's lovely, she's talented, she smells good, I need attention. My name is Bone Doggie. I am very glad to make your acquaintance. Razor sharp and silken blue. Can't seem to drink away that melancholy mood. My only friend's an empty glass, pack of stale cigarettes, bottle of memory, suitcase of regret. Thank you so much.
She'll take 2 seconds out of your day to say hello. She'll ask you how you are and if you'd like to stay and talk for a while. But you'll take for granted all that she is, and you'll never know. You'll never know. She doesn't just like you for what you do. She falls in love with all of you. 'Cause there's more to you than you'll ever know. And she'll love to find out if you give her a chance just to say hello. She keeps track of the little things and everything in between, just to live in moments. Every time she says something, kind words fill her breath as she speaks, but no word ever goes unspoken. But you'll take for granted all that she is, and you'll never know. Never know. She doesn't just like you for what you do. She falls in love with all of you. 'Cause there's more to you than you'll ever know. And she'll love to find out if you give her a chance just to say hello. With every person that she meets, she changes their life in a heartbeat, but they'll never know. She doesn't just like you for what you do. She falls in love with all of you. 'Cause there's more to you than you'll ever know. And she'll learn to find out if you give her a chance to say hello. Say hello. You never know. Thank you.
things I love is torturing Ben. I've just always loved that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's new information to me.
He gets that look on his face, that
The startled, like, why am I here? Wasn't aware you were aware of my presence until now.
and why are you talking to me? And leave me alone. I'd rather be having a cheeseburger type thing. Yeah, that's him. See, there it is right there. Oh, my God. Paws up, my cats and kittens. We are back on Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com.
Hi.
And we're at the Mighty Vic.
Mighty
The Mighty Vic, the Visitor Information Center.
Oh, Vic. Oh.
Yeah, the Mighty Vic. I made that up one day because I couldn't remember the name of this place. It worked out really good, and nobody's questioned it so far. They wouldn't dare. So it is the Mighty Vic, and rather than the Fishbowl, which is what everybody wanted to call the studio.
No, I like Vic.
You like the Vic?
I
I like the
Vic.
Vic.
Yeah.
It's got more power. It's got some.
Could be short for victory, or it could be gender neutral. It could be Victoria or Victor. It could be anything.
Victor,
Yeah.
Victoria,
Yeah.
or it could be just some sort of torture. But I like it because
Very
it's easy to pronounce and remember.
Yeah.
And I, who am actually practicing Alzheimer's,
Oh.
I'm thinking of turning pro. As a matter of fact, so it's good for
Full
me.
time?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I can do that. If I can figure out how to make some money, but maybe by that time I won't care. Really, I
Yeah.
won't. That's just something that we work on.
You just start remembering your life in a strange order.
Yes.
Not necessarily aware of where you are at the moment. Yeah.
It's worked so far.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
as sleep deprived musicians and artists, we're familiar with that routine already. So.
That's true. That's true. It's kind of our makeup,
Yeah.
That's how we improvise. You're probably wondering, my cats and kittens, what we're doing here, and we are sitting at 111 Hickory Street,
Oh.
and the DentonRadio.com studios, blah blah blah, and we have the lovely and talented and one of my favorite people on this whole planet, Lydia Lowe.
Thank you,
Is
Doggie.
with us. And Lydia and I go way back. We go back, not way back, but we
4
go
years.
back 4 years, about 4 years.
Which is a lifetime in Denton, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
It seems like it sometimes. And
For sure.
I'll never forget, we were doing the open mic at Abbey Underground,
Mm-hmm.
and you come in, and you're very quiet and just looking lovely and just, very demure
Terrified.
and terrified. and you signed up, and you sat there, and you waited your turn, which came
Till like 1 something in the morning.
right around, yeah. And then you got up and literally just blew everybody's socks off.
Oh.
And you did a great job, and just kind of grabbed it and went boom. And the next thing you know, you started being a regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started doing.
I got way too acquainted with the Abbey bar staff and also the offerings they had behind the bar.
Some of my favorite people too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Through all its changes, Abbey's had a very good crew.
Yeah, they usually do. They usually do, from what I remember of them. And yeah, they take care of you. They accommodate.
They really do.
So
And
you-
so many musicians there, like, who hang out in Abbey. It's like a little den of musicians.
Well, do you wonder, is part of that because there's no cover?
that does help. Musicians aren't the most financially
We aren't
stable.
the most exactly. We're not the most bankrolled people that you could possibly have.
No.
But you did some open mic there, and had you been playing before? I'd never asked you that before.
Really?
Yeah, we'd never had that discussion.
In Denton or in general?
Just in general.
In general, yes. Before I moved to Texas, I was starting to play a bit in Singapore, where I grew up and went to school.
Right.
And I think I just started finally playing more regular shows and paying shows, and then
Right.
I decided that I couldn't deal with business school or Singapore in general, and moved here.
Wow.
I just uprooted at the probably worst time and hopped over. Yeah.
Really? So were you already in college when you transferred from Singapore to?
Yes, I
Denton?
was failing the freshman year of college when I transferred
Oh,
over.
okay. Because I remember you. Yeah, you were kind of a youngin when I met you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still naive.
4 years ago,
and-
and then you popped up out of nowhere.
Oh, it might have been more than 4 years, maybe 5, maybe 5.
Time is an illusion, honey. It's
Time
just,
is just fluid.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's back there somewhere. I'm sure somebody remembers. Maybe.
Maybe.
If it's worth it. But anyway,
But yeah, I'd been playing music for a little bit before I came over, and
Right.
actually my first Denton show wasn't the Abbey. It was at the Garage on Fry Street.
oh my gosh, yes, the garage.
Actually, I think we talked about that on the first night. I played with the Green Light. They're not a thing anymore, but at the time they were a duo that's very reminiscent of the White Stripes.
Yes.
It was
yes.
a girlfriend-boyfriend combo, playing guitar and drums, and yeah.
And she played the drums, and she played the snot out of the drums.
She
Those guys
did.
were great.
Yeah, and that was my first show at the
Then-
Garage.
Oh, well, very cool, very cool. Then you
Yeah.
showed up, and then you hooked up with
Chelsea and
Chelsea
Sunny.
Red. You hooked up with Red
yeah,
and Sunny
and Ellie Meyer.
and Ellie
And later on, Poppy Xander.
and
Yeah.
Poppy Xander. And this was funny because this was actually paid back in kind. Very lovely. Is I remember you guys had the band together, and you and I were talking, and you called it the Lydia Lowe Band, and I suggested, why don't you call it the Velvet Army?
I think you might have said something else, like it's like Lydia Lowe and her army, and then we just slowly evolved into Velvet Army.
And then it went to Velvet
Army. You can't
Army.
take all the credit.
It's my show. I can do it. Pay no attention to this woman. She's delirious. She doesn't.
Very likely.
I'd mentioned Lydia Lowe's Army, I think, and then you guys come up with the Velvet Army, and Velvet Army cruised around here for a good couple of years.
Yeah, it was it was ridiculous. Before we knew what we were doing, we were playing way too many shows. We were just flying off the seat of our pants most of the time. I still remember the first show we ever did, Twilight Tunes, right there on the square.
Right.
And we were having practice the day itself, trying to cram all these songs in. And on stage, I remember Ellie and Sunny both leaning over backwards away from the mic and going, this song's an F sharp, right? Okay, cool. But we made it. And there were so many shows. Every single month we were just playing our brains out. And it was a great time. And they're really wonderful gals. And I miss them a lot. I still run into each of them now and then. But everyone has their own projects now.
There was some amazing musicianship in that setup. And just everybody seemed to be placed perfectly. Chelsea Daniel played percussion. Drums, trap set, but now her thing, I think, is
more percussion and synthesizer.
Yeah.
And Sonny Marcel was on bass.
Yes.
And way too much talking on stage. Like we'd be trying to start a set, and Sonny would still be making her social rounds into the microphone. I'm like, Sonny, sweetie, we need to start.
Sonny's a very social animal.
She is.
Seriously.
She was definitely the caffeine of the band.
Yes, definitely. Quite the personality, and just a wonderful bass player. Seriously. And then our old buddy
sweetheart.
Ellie.
Yes, she was on guitar or keyboard depending on the song, because we'd switch off.
That was kind of a drinking game. Is okay. How many instruments? You got to have a shot every time Ellie changes an instrument.
Really? Yeah. Was that a drinking game?
Yeah, we didn't tell you guys about it, but we did it anyway.
I'm sure it was not the only drinking game.
Well, we made them up as we went along, and some of them stuck. Some of them stuck.
I think that's how drinking games are.
Yeah. So, but and then you left Velvet Army and you kind of struck out on yourself on your own for a while,
because it was such it was a fun thing. It was almost like a moving singer-songwriter in the round setup. It wasn't quite a band.
Yeah.
Like we never actually got to finish any of the songs that we were trying to write together because we never just sat down to work on music.
That was the interesting thing about that band, is all you guys wrote tunes.
Yeah.
And you played everybody's songs.
Yeah, but never wrote together.
It just never kind of became a collaboration.
So it was almost like a really strange female mixtape. It was fun and it was different and people enjoyed it, and they also enjoyed the diversity aspect of the band, which is how we got some of the gigs that we did get.
Yeah.
But I think it also made it very painfully clear that I didn't want to do clearly pop anymore.
Right.
Or to be stuck in that constant loop of just gigging without actually working and developing on my music, because I realized that I was getting so many bad habits when it came to writing and performing in general, and I wanted to move on from that.
What kind of bad habits? I mean, what did you pick up at that time? What were you? Because I know what your songwriting is like, and I've always loved your songs, because they're quite frankly, they're as weird and quirky as mine are. And
that's a compliment.
Well,
thank you.
It's a backhanded compliment, but at the same time, they're very interesting, because you don't write like me. You don't write your typical boy meets girl. They fall in love, they fall out of love, they fall back in love, and the song ends.
Well, that's not fair. That is how most songs go. It's about people falling in and out of love. It's just that we choose to go into the more theatrical aspect of it. We choose to go for the extreme stories.
I could actually go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most murders and ghost stories that we write about come out of some kind of romantic falling out or romantic obsession.
This is true.
Yeah.
Most of my murders, as a matter of fact, involve a couple. So I guess I could backtrack on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I get what you mean. It's not like the typical 12-year-old journal of like, I like this person, they don't like me back, boo-hoo. And just like the very surface level of that dynamic.
Yeah. And find something that rhymes, throw in a middle eight, and you're done.
I mean, I do sometimes look up a thesaurus when I'm stuck.
I do it all the time, just to see what other kind of words I could be using.
Yeah, occasionally I'll be like, plank. I didn't think of plank. All right. And yeah.
So the good old thesaurus is not a bad thing when you're writing a song to use it, or a dictionary, or a spell check helps. You know, for when you take the song to the band later on, and they like to ridicule you about your spelling.
Oh, I haven't been yet. Mostly because my current band
God, I
don't
have.
really look up my lyrics. So
Really? It's just, yeah, I used to get a lot of abuse. Dude, how do you spell this? I don't know. I just typed. It sounded good. So
no, actually, with my current band, In Spite of Madness, there were a few shows where I was kind of worried because they mentioned they were a PG-13 venue,
right,
or like at least 18 PG venue or a family-friendly venue. I mentioned like, well, that's a problem because one of these songs has a few cuss words in them,
right.
And they went, really? I'm like, you've been playing this song for months. How do you not know that?
It is and I will say this: it is very easy when you are an instrumentalist that you don't always pay attention. I'm looking at Ben. I played in a rock and roll band with my brother, Brian, who's an angelic singer. I think you've met Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we did a gig together.
We did a song swap
a couple months ago. Yeah. I played with Brian for 10 years in one particular band, and I didn't know any of the lyrics to any of those songs because I didn't pay attention to him. I knew he was doing it, you know, and fine, you do that. I'm just going to stand over here and make my noise. And so, yeah, it's not that difficult to not know the lyrics of the songs. But it's good and it's handy to have somebody that does remember them.
Yes.
In case you forget them, and then they can whisper over to you. Ghost was real good about that. Yeah, it was like, this is the first, dude, what's the first line? And he's like, and he'd tell me, and then we'd start the song.
Actually, you know Amy Cook?
Yes.
Dear Amy Cook. And she's also one of those that we've known since like the first Abbey days.
Yep.
And so she knows a lot of my lyrics, and it was actually Maggie, which is a song that I've been performing like since before I moved here.
We have played that one, yes. I love
I was
Maggie.
so tired one show, and she happened to be there, and I started the song twice and just went, oh.
You don't remember it. Blank.
And Amy just comes up and she sings the first line to me. I'm like, thank you. I'm like,
Amy Cook saves the day. That's awesome.
that woman has a brilliant head for word lyrics. And
she really
melodies.
does.
Like,
she really does.
It's just, her mind's a steel trap for those things.
Yes, yes. I got the good fortune to perform with Amy when we were doing Choosy Beggar for a short while, which is a very acoustic, very folky type thing.
Yeah,
And
I remember that project.
Man, that woman can sit down and spit out a harmony immediately.
Yeah.
You know, and I've met a few people that could do that, but not very many. You know, and she just right there. You know, and
it's not very dignified. It's a little bit more magical than that.
That's how I view harmonies. Is like you know, and so because my brother does that when he drives around. He when he sings to the radio, he doesn't sing the line. He
I
sings
used
harmonies.
to, especially because I have that weirder vocal range. Well, not weird, but growing up in all girls school, everyone around me was a soprano.
Yes.
And anytime I was in a choir, I was one of the 4 altos out of a 60-girl choir.
Exactly.
And it was always just like, well, and all the girls are singing along to Disney, and I can't sing with them because my vocal range isn't so high.
Right.
And so I've always just learned to do harmonies out of necessity.
That's good. Necessity is the mother of invention.
To keep up with the other Disney princesses in my life.
Which we've known a few, haven't we, dear?
Yes.
Yes. But that's one of the things I do love about what you do is, especially when you know, I love female singers, but it is so easy for so many to fall into that one vocal category, and they fall into that one range. And after a while, you could shake them up in a bag, and they all sound like the same person.
Yeah.
Your voice is a little bit different, like you say, you're an alto, and your approach to the way you vocalize and all of that is a little bit different. It's a little bit more, that's another word.
Poor transcript person.
Doggie said that my vocals are
RWNGG.
and I don't know what that means.
Can I put that as a review? Bone Doggie reviews my voice as
So, no, but it's got some chutzpah.
Oh,
There you go.
okay. I'm okay with that.
Does that pass the chutzpah's PG or
I think
at
so.
least G rated, I guess. I don't know. The producer's shaking his head. He doesn't know what that means, do you? Chutzpah. Look it up. Google it while we're sitting here, and then you can admonish me later. So
Movies do that though. They'll do swear words in other languages, and I'll think of
Yes.
people. I'm like, are they allowed to do that? Like,
I've never even thought about that. What a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
You could do a filthy song in
Yeah.
another language and nobody would know.
yeah. It's odd. I'm sure not all countries have loose standards when it comes to other
I'm gonna
languages.
make a note of that, and I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna do a
Write filthy song in another language.
Another language, and LANGU. Never mind. It'll. Oh, it corrected it.
Smartphones.
Write a filthy.
Terrifying.
Write filthy song in another laundry. I hate this phone. So anyway. So let's get back to the real world, my dove. And now you are the leader, front man, front person. I can't call you a front man because you're definitely not a man.
The front person and front woman aren't actual words.
No,
but
they're not.
Front man is, and I'm like, I would use frontman. I don't care, but
You are the lead singer.
I'm the dictator.
You're the dictator, benevolent dictator. Benevolent dictator? Nope, the bass player's shaking his head. So good, make him suffer. So it's the benevolent dictator of In Spite of Madness.
Yes.
Or as they call you at Andy's, what was it?
Spider Madness. Your Erica Pipes of Tri-County Terror calls it Spider Madness. Yes.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Spider Madness.
Yeah.
That's the one that's going to stick with me now.
Ugh.
So
Yeah.
In Spite of Madness.
We had to think about that band name forever.
Oh,
Because this is not my first band, and I wanted to approach everything from and so I was thinking like things like acronyms and how many syllables it was, how marketable it was, how easy it was to say when you're tired, how easy to say on stage, how easy it is to write, such and such.
Think about when you name a band.
They are.
Because one of the things I hate is people that come up with a band that you just can't not remember the name or just can't pronounce it when you do.
Or they don't think to Google first if there's already a very established band with the same name, or if there's an unfortunate, ethically compromised person with the same name. Like, you have to look up these names.
Find out. We named our band before us.
Unfortunately, our name, we went back and forth on. We had a list. We had a Google sheet, actually, that we would add to and go between the three members. And while we were Ben and I were on tour with the Holophonics, Eric Dano's band.
Eric's Bunch, yes.
And we were sessioning with them, and we were in North Carolina, I think. No, South Carolina? One of those areas.
One of the Carolinas.
At a pizza parlor playing a benefit show for the legal fees of the local pot dealer who had been busted. We didn't know this till after we played.
Right.
Yes. But anyway, and it was a very
God
strange
bless
night.
civic gigs, I swear.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And we had to load in, play our set, and load out in 30 minutes. That was the condition for us playing when we showed up. And it was just a strange night. There was this adorable, sweet couple up by the door trying to sell their wares while the door kept flinging up open and trying to hit their table over. This other band, the singer was just done for some reason and was yelling at everyone. And to get to the bar, which was probably about as long as this table, you had to yell over 5 heads. It was chaos. But it was a good night, and this rather inebriated gentleman yelled out very belligerently into the crowd, "In spite of madness, it was a good night." And we're like, "Huh."
There it is. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
So we're like, we got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it showed up, and you guys are 3-piece.
We are. We changed drummers. Now Bree Hill is our drummer. She's everybody's drummer.
Good call.
But she's
mine.
Mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember asking. Was it you that I asked for the number, and you said you stealing my drummer?
Oh yes, I'm very protective of a drummer. Good drummers, like working with Chelsea Danielle, I was kind of spoiled. Like having a drummer who knows their stuff, has their equipment, like takes care of their equipment, shows up early, self-sufficient, and know your songs and fast at learn, and just very professional. That's so hard to find.
It is.
I love drummers, but a lot of them have the attention span of goldfish.
This is true.
Yeah,
this is very true. And they're a different breed. There's actually a psychologist that wrote a book on drummers.
Oh wow!
And I've read 2 chapters out of it. I found it on the internet, and wow, they're a different species.
They are.
Love you.
We
Can't
love our
do
drummers.
without you.
We love our drummers.
But
yeah, so finding another drummer on short notice, because Joe, our first drummer, Joe had a really bad injury in his leg and he couldn't play drums the way he did anymore because he just went too hard at it.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of despondent because we had planned to have a music video shot and that didn't work out because our drummer was gone and we were like, we can't play without a drummer. And Bree hopped on board with the project.
It's actually a brilliant call, because Bree is an amazing drummer.
And apparently we had over the years talked about working together, but timing and mental states never worked out, and it just was good timing.
Well, the gig that we did in August, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Getting with her and Jess Thompson and the Reverend Matt Hall, and that was a blast. And so it's you and Ben. Riley. Ben Riley over there on bass. And I've got to say this is the funniest story, is one of the things I love about Ben is this has happened to me twice in my entire life. I'm going to embarrass you, is that he sat out in the audience and learned my songs. And we would get up like at open mic and he'd say, "Play this one," and it would be one of my originals, and we'd whip it out and he'd play it. You
Yeah,
know?
that's Ben.
Ghost did the same thing. That's when I first met Ghost. He would sit in the front row, and I would have Ghost like opening up the show or something like that, and he would sit there and he learned all my songs. So eventually, I just hired him. Plus, he was the only guitar player that I've ever met that I actually had to tell to turn up.
Oh.
That was a big deal. That was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, guitar players have also a very specific personality.
Yes, they are. But do you consider yourself a guitar player, or do you consider yourself more of a singer, songwriter? Because you do play guitar, and you play a pretty mean rhythm guitar. You really do.
I'm comfortable on rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
As for what instrumentalist I would call myself, I would say I'm a songwriter,
You're
honestly.
a songwriter. Yeah, definitely.
I enjoy singing a lot. I really do. And I think it's the instrument that I've become the most comfortable with, and I think I've learned the most of over the years.
Right.
But there's some things you can do with the guitar that you can't do with vocals, and vice versa.
True. Very true.
I'm never going to be one of those Whitney Houston types that can just stand in the middle of the square and make the entire square stop with the power of my voice. Like, that will take some work and surgery.
I think we could probably argue about that for a good deal. I felt the same way for the longest time, but the last 5-6 gigs that I've done, I did it sans guitar.
Oh.
And I had never done that before. I had never actually had somebody else handle the strings and put it down. And at first, you feel very vulnerable.
Right.
You know, I'm stuck out here in the middle
Yeah,
of nowhere.
James.
I have no control over anything. But at the same time, yes, I do. Because I got my whole body now. I can turn around and conduct, which is hard to do when you have a stringed instrument in your hand.
That is true.
So
Weirdly enough, with In Spite of Madness, our original goal was they hired me. I should actually clarify. They hired me. Ben and Joe, in their mind, they had
Right.
started a band already and needed a singer. And the person they were working with at the time, that project wasn't working out, so they started a new project and they needed a new singer. And they were supposed to have me just sing.
right.
But our first guitarist ended up incarcerated, so we couldn't use him.
That will put a hitch in that get along, won't it?
Slightly, and we've constantly auditioned or temporarily hired new people, and for one
Right.
reason or the other, they did not work out. We actually put flyers, like guitarists wanted, around Denton, and my requirements, perhaps I was asking for too much. I said you must have your life together, censored for your benefit.
I
but
don't think that's unreasonable.
must have
I
your
really
life
don't.
together, like have working equipment, have a functioning car, or at least a means to get around.
Yep.
Have a job, so I'm not worried they're going to starve to death when you're
Right.
not having a show. Know your stuff, as in like music. Be a very steady, stable guitarist. And what was I think there was a third requirement that was vital, but I can't remember now. No, so and under like less necessary requirements was that you must love dogs and must love whiskey. But that's more of a personality thing to
I
get
love you.
to get along in our band. And now that I think about it, that might have scared some people off. They're like, are they looking for someone to date or like a guitarist? But,
Dogs and whiskey.
right?
That's the top of my list. So,
There was
yeah.
actually Benjamin from I the Ghost, or what was I the Ghost. He came in to
Yeah.
talk with us before I the Ghost really took off, and we got along okay music wise. But then we talked about drinks, and he's like, "I'm a vodka person." We're like, we love Ben, but yeah, it was funny.
Discounted by vodka. That's awesome.
Yeah. But as about not playing the guitar while singing, recently we did a show with Sunrise Pilots and Moniker at Abbey Underground,
Right.
and it was meant to be a 3-piece party,
Yeah.
except Chris Knox pulled out of the band, or he went to move on to his own personal projects, so
Right.
they lost a lead singer, and they hadn't found a new lead singer by the time that show was coming around. So they're
Right.
like, instead of us canceling or trying to make one of us sing, why not we have the lead singers of Moniker and In Spite of Madness session with us and be our step-in lead singers.
See, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. That's it's off the cuff, and sometimes it works.
And it was
Sometimes does.
intimidating. Have you heard Chris Knox sing?
Yeah. Yeah. Got some pipes.
Yeah.
Got some pipes.
And so for like 2 weeks straight in my car, a lot of people in traffic probably thought I was having a stroke while I was trying to practice singing Chris Knox's songs.
I'm kind of doing that for Halloween. We're doing a show at Abbey Underground on October 27th. My Cats and Kittens, and the band, the headliner band or the finishing band is actually Diesel Beast.
Oh, that's
and I'm
excellent.
singing. Diesel Beast is going to be my backup band for that gig, and we're also playing the Day of the Dead, and
Oh,
Diesel Beast
wow.
is going to be my backup band for that. The same night on the 27th, before Diesel Beast, is the Collective. Which, by the way, my cats and
I
kittens, this woman does get
I do have
100%.
credit for that.
She does. She gets 100% because I remember we were sitting in the courthouse having
Drinking
a cup of coffee, and I was talking to her about this project, and she said, "Why don't you call it the Collective?" And it stuck. And so I'm singing with the Collective. Tristan Thorndike and the Rock and Roll Cannibals are opening up, and then I'm singing with the Collective, and we're doing 50s and 60s rock and roll Halloween songs.
Nice.
And then we're doing Bone Doggie material with Diesel Beast. So I'm singing for two different bands
Sounds like a fun
the same
show.
night. I'm going to be so dead.
Oh yeah.
But then then we turn around, and at 5 o'clock for the Day of the Dead, me and Diesel Beast are going to get up there and just rock the place. So
Sounds excellent.
yeah, I don't get to sing heavy metal very often, and until you've heard a heavy metal version of Little Bar in Texas.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Which is the funny thing about it though is that most of Diesel Beast, they're all Hellraisers anyway.
Yes.
They were all
At
there
some
when
point
this-
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of a fun natural fit, but being able to mix like that and do two different bands and all of that and just kind of bounce around, it's frightening. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's really gratifying when you're done. You just look back at it and go, "Wow, that was a blast!" And I'm insane because I'm gonna do it again someday.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah. No, we're really looking forward to finding someone to take the guitar off my hands so I can
Right.
do the Just Sing thing. I think I've reached a point where I'm no longer as terrified, and I'm
Right.
comfortable enough with my voice. I have enough things to think about my voice that I'm not freaking out all the time.
it does take a wee bit of weight off. I mean, playing rhythm is one thing, but trying to play lead and sing at the same time to me is just nuts. I mean, the people that can do it are usually pretty brilliant.
Yeah. I
I
can't. That's the one time stage fright kicks in really hard for me. My hands just become dead fish. I'm just like, I can't. Strings.
The brain goes in 5 different directions, and none of them are where they're supposed to be.
Mostly focus on sweating, I think.
That one always works, though. Yeah, that's the easy one. All right. Well, we are going to force you to actually sing and play.
Okay. I have to work for my time here. Yes.
Of course you do.
Of course.
Of course you do. But it's a treat. It's a treat for them. It's a treat for me, certainly. So what we're going to do, my cats and kittens, is we're going to take a wee little bit of a break and get the lovely Lydia Lowe here set up. Who we getting hollered at? James Norton out there.
He was commenting on our comments about guitarists, I think, being different breeds of creatures.
Being different breeds of animals. Do you
Yeah.
agree with this, James? Apparently you do. So
We
very
say
cool.
it with love.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Well, we're sending you love. But we're going to send you low here in a minute. So what we're going to do is take a few minutes, play some videos, and while we're doing that on that side of Facebook and DentonRadio.com, we will get you all set up, and you can grace us with a few of your tomes.
Tomes. Okay.
I had a better word, but that's the only one that's coming to
I'm
it
okay
right
with that
now.
one.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. Tomes it is then.
Tomes.
All right. You are tuned in to Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Lydia Lowe. So until then, push the button, Max.
Headed out as soon as I came of age. Only came back for some holidays. One by one my family turned the page. Now they're all dead and in the ground. I've no reason to come around. Now I'm a stranger in my hometown. Where I'm from, we all play for the red team. We all share the same morality. Other voices won't be heard no matter what they scream. If you vote blue, they'll put you down. I no longer hang around. That's why I'm a stranger in my hometown. Message in the church pews, it's always been the same. It's fire and brimstone, sinners and shame, but you can't find the source of love in the fear of the flame. No, I'm no longer heaven bound, since I no longer hang around. That's why I'm a stranger in my hometown. Now I found a new place to return from where I roam. I can be myself and not have to be alone. Wherever you are raised doesn't have to be your home. Home is where you settle down, where you love to hang around. And now I'm proud to be a stranger to my hometown.
Back, my cats and kittens. Woo. And it is time now for some live music from the lovely and talented Lydia.
Thank you,
All right.
Doggie.
You're welcome.
This first.
Don't forget to look at the camera.
Oh, yeah. Which camera am I looking at? Oh, okay, cool. I'll look. I'll
Are
look.
they
In.
on? Hello? They're on.
They're
Okay.
on. They're on. Yes.
I'm leaving.
I'm adrift on your waters, and I've lost sight of the shore. Thought I glimpsed light in the distance, but I dare not approach, for I still owe penance. I'm lost at sea, and all my pleas fall on deaf ears. Call to me in all my dreams. My sails are still alert, endless thirst is my wretched curse among mocking seas of salt. Let me drown better to sing now. How much further must I fall? I'm lost at sea, and all I've come to me in
sea, and all my pleas fall on deaf currents. Alrighty, thank you. That one is Adrift. It is one of my newer tunes off my album Undertow, which I will release one day when I figure out all the adult aspects of recording an album. Hi, Mark. So, this next one is called Mad Mad Maggie. And today I will not forget my own lyrics. Alrighty, I think we have one more tune, maybe. I'm gonna do a medley. This one is a bunch of songs that I always perform with a bit of nostalgia from my first gig at the garage when I was wondering how I was going to connect with the general clientele there, whose lifestyle and mine don't always get along. And I figured this is the best way to reach their hearts. Oh, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right, yeah? Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. Now you're out of sight, yeah, show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now, because my loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I
put off taking that time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind the cigarettes. And the feeling coming from my bones says leave it alone. I must confess that my loneliness is killing me now. Cause you know I still believe that you will be here and give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe when I'm not good, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Thank you.
And the crowd goes crazy. All right, pop back in here.
Throw t-shirts into the crowd.
Throw t-shirts into the crowd.
want a
Can I
t-shirt
move any
cannon.
of this stuff? Hi, turn my back to you again. Poor audience. They have
It's
to
so they can
put up
observe the
with
lovely fibers of your shirt.
it. 75 cents at the thrift store.
Oh yeah, I've
I'm
been hitting the
saying.
thrift store pretty hard.
I
Yeah,
know, right?
mhm.
It's God bless the thrift store.
Indeed. And sewing skills, basic sewing skills.
Almost all of my stage clothes
Oh,
have come from the thrift store.
very nice.
Yeah, this one's too. Thank you so much for doing
Thank
this.
you for having me, Doggie.
It's always good to see you.
It is good to see you too.
So, and you did a great job. What we'll do is here in as the passage of time, a little bit passage of time, we need to drag the boys in here with you.
Are the boys?
And, yeah, and do an In Spite of Madness night. You know, and just bring the band in. And
It's not Joe anymore. We only have one boy now. So you get one more lady. And
oh,
one
that's
more boy.
right,
Yeah.
Bree. Forgot about
Yeah.
Bree. Okay, so
And we don't have another guitarist. People keep thinking we have another guitarist. We don't.
but you're looking.
We're looking.
You're looking.
If,
So
if we can find a boy or a girl guitarist, a girl guitarist would be great, but
ooh, you could totally outnumber Riley. That'd be hysterical. You'd be swimming in the estrogen sea. So-
Ben would probably still have the longest hair in the band. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to bring In Spite of Madness
Yeah,
in
that'd be great.
and just
We're working on a new
have you do
single.
things. Well then,
Yeah.
keep us in praised. Keep us praised, and we'll do that.
Okay.
That's what we got for tonight, my cats and kittens. Thank you so much for tuning in to Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com.
Yeah.
And we're gonna leave in the usual fashion. You have to do a bump.
A what?
A bump.
A bump.
A bump. A recorded bump. You say, "This is Lydia Lowe."
Oh.
Remember this? You've done this before. I know you've done this before. This is Lydia Lowe from In Spite of Madness, and you are tuned in to Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com.
One more time?
Ich fragen Sie Hausen Mastorgen.
No, I got it.
You do you?
You're so Lydia Lowe and Fine Minutes. You're listening to Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com.
You are tuned in to Dog because you're not only listening. We're on Facebook now
you're
and
tuned in.
Twitter and some of those other social medioid
tuned
things.
into Doggie
You're
Time
tuned into Doggie Time.
on DentonRadio.com.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
You ready?
Yeah.
In your own time. No pressure. Smile. Beautiful.
Can't smile and talk. My name is Lydia Lowe from In Spite of Madness, and you are tuned into Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com.
Canst thou dig it?
Yes.
I knew that you could. All right. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doggie.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back in 2 weeks with some more madness. Lord knows who we're going to have with us, but you'll find out sooner or later. You'll probably know before I do, as a matter of fact. Until then, remember, come on up to LSA on Monday nights and check out the kids doing the open mic.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and have you got any gigs coming up?
Yeah, we're playing Jago Fest, actually, next
doing
week.
Jago Fest.
We're doing Jago Fest.
Next weekend.
Oh, and we're playing Harvest House for the Walk and Stroll this Saturday, actually.
What time
with
is that?
Remain. We're playing at 10-ish. 10-ish.
Give us a time and a date.
10th, this Saturday. Date, I don't remember. I don't know dates. Huh. the 13th? 14th. It's the 14th. It's the
Yes, because today's
October
the 11th.
14th at Harvest House, 10 p.m. We'll go with that.
October 14th at Harvest House, 10 p.m.
Yes.
In Spite of Madness. If you've not seen these guys, they are a lot of fun. You will love them. And it's for a good cause, is it not?
It's for the Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Very good. And we should have a Musicians Violence Awareness Month. Yeah.
I think that goes into domestic territory.
I've never known a musician to be domestic. I've known some of them to be purebreds, though. So anyway, we'll go with that. So you're going to be there next Saturday, and then you're going to do Jago Fest.
This Saturday,
This coming
Harvest House.
Saturday.
Following week, Jago Fest.
Yeah, Jago Fest.
And then first weekend of November, if you want to go camping in the woods with us at a music festival, contact the band about tickets.
And do you have a website or something they can get a hold of you
Yes,
at?
Facebook.com/InSpiredOfMadness, InSpiredOfMadness.com. Haha, we have that URL. Or just
Ooh.
Instagram, also In Spite of Madness. We're consistent with our branding.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
thing. That's a good thing. I am not. So, but I don't have to be. I'm
Okay.
here at DentonRadio.com, and yours truly, excuse me, will be October 27. We will be at Abbey Underground along with the Crypt Kicker Collective
Ooh,
and Diesel Beast,
excellent.
and also Tristan Thorndyke's Rock and Roll Cannibals
Oh,
is going to
boy.
open up that night. And then 5 p.m., Day of the Dead, yours truly, Bone Doggie, backed up by my boys, Diesel Beast. So if you want to see a heavy metal version of Bone Doggie, come out and check that out. We're going to do the time warp. So anyway, until then, my cats and kittens, we would like to thank producer extraordinaire, the brother Jake Laughlin, for pushing our buttons. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. We'd like to thank once more Lydia for coming and doing this mess. We will see you in a couple weeks. Y'all be careful. Ciao bella. Good night. Push the button, Max.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.